There are so many people who touched Tim's life in a major way. People who were peers and collaborators, but also heroes and inspirations. This next person I'm going to speak with was certainly someone that paved the way for Tim, and it eventually became his friend. This is David Guetta.
Hey,
Hi, David.
I'm good from Miami confinement.
From I know, and I'm here in LA. We're just taking it day by day. I'm trying to be as creative as possible to make new music and also just, you know, take a break too, because the life of an artist is a lot of travel.
That's true. It's funny because like when this started, like all my friends were complaining, and for me it was like, wow, it feels amazing to do nothing at all for the first time in my life. So I have to say the 2-3 first weeks, they were actually quite nice. And now I'm back to making music every day and writing songs.
You can't even like try to make something happen because nobody else is going outside. So you really do have to.
The thing is that we are in a very in an industry that is it's a lot of pressure all the time and a lot of competition, but not everybody's on stop at the same time. So it's the first time that we can kind of chill without feeling guilty.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's nobody's like pushing to get a higher level of competition right now because we all have to press pause. Interesting. Okay, I wanted to find out from you, some of the experiences that you might have had with Tim, and really the most important question I always want to know from somebody is like, when did you first discover the name Avicii? Where was it? What happened?
Oh yeah, I remember that very well. The first time I saw his name, he made a remix for Bob Sinclair, and I heard the chords. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I'm like, is this a sample? Like, because I didn't know him.
Right.
So it was really like a very early. And then I looked up and I realized, this was this new guy. And then I contacted him. I also asked for a remix. Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No worries. It's a big festival calling you to book you?
Carl, I'm online doing an interview. I gotta call you back, okay?
Is it Carl Falk? Who is it?
Yeah, it is actually. Oh wait.
Hey, Carl.
Okay, wait. That's funny.
What's up, Carl? Yo. Small world, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. Actually, it's an interview about Tim. So it's funny that you would call right now. How crazy is this?
I mean, it's meant to be, of course, right?
Wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna call you right back, okay?
Do it.
When I finish this. All right. That's funny. This is perfect. Actually, this shows how much of a small industry we're working in.
It really is. It gets smaller and smaller. Almost the bigger you get, the more people you know. And then eventually...
Look, we're talking about Tim, and now Carl, that was also working with him, is calling me. This is crazy. It's such a small world.
Very small world. So you heard a remix that he did for Bob Sinclair. And then
at that time he was doing a few. So I started to check out his work, but he was just doing like, he didn't completely find his identity at that time. So he had that. He was always like a melody genius, and I mean, I could hear that it was special what he was doing, but it was not completely achieved yet.
Okay.
But I called him, and then we spoke for a while, and then he gave me a remix, and he was still at this level of trying to make a name, working with bigger DJs, things like this, and yeah, that's how it started. And then
so when you reached out, how did you get in touch? Did your team get in touch with his team, or did you see him like out?
No. I do this all the time. Like even now, like if I see, if I'm impressed by a record, or even a remix, a small, doesn't matter. I would reach out directly to the producer. You know, I did this so many times, and even sign artists like this, like Nicky Romero or Afrojack or people like this, you know. Or sometimes I would like call for a technical thing, like, how did you do this trick? You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course, because I want to learn from anyone. Like, there's a lot to learn from new kids, because of course they come with new techniques. You know, this is why production is always evolving. So I think we should never feel like we know it all.
Untouchable or something.
Yeah, you know, you're an amazing songwriter, but I'm sure you get still impressed
always
from time, you know.
Always. Absolutely. Okay, so then you got the remix from Tim, and when was the first time you actually got a chance to meet him? Because I'm sure when you reached out, it was just through communication through the internet or phone call.
Yeah. Well, then later, it started to become bigger. I think I booked him in Ibiza, and we started to play together from time to time, you know, because again, you know, it's the same, you know, the festival circuit, you know, it's a small world. Like, I think it's funny how from the outside it looks like something so huge, but it's actually not that huge. You know, it's actually always you know, the same people. Look, you're calling me, and Carl is calling me at the same time. You know, like we there are not like so many amazing producers. There are not so many amazing songwriters. There are not so many great festivals. You know, so when you work in the same industry, you're always gonna see each other. And especially for DJs, you know, when Tim started to be in that circuit, and it was kind of the golden age of EDM, you know, it was, he actually, I think he came right after, like, I made my big, you know, I had my my big revelation moment in 2009 with I Got a Feeling and When Love Takes Over and Sexy Bitch, all those records.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right after there was Swedish House Mafia. That was like, you
their
know,
moment.
I just.
Uh-oh, he's frozen.
Are we back? Yes.
We're back.
So all of this happened in 1 or 2 years, like me exploring the Swedish House Mafia and Avicii, you know. So it was like a very strong moment for dance music.
It was huge. It was really, really, really big. The last time I saw you was in Stockholm during the tribute to Tim. And you know, how did that feel when you were out there? I'm sure you've been to Stockholm many, many times, but this was a totally different kind of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It was totally special, and I was actually amazed to see, you know, like how many people came. The feeling that was there, it was really unique, and I mean, it's incredible to, you know, be able to leave such a huge footstep, you know, have such a legacy in terms of music, but also in terms of impact in the life of people, you know. And I think this is what we're trying to do, you know. We're trying to, at least for me, and you know, I'm trying to give happiness to the people, influence their life in a positive way. And I think you definitely did this. He definitely did this. I'm also trying to do it. But that night, you could see how strong the impact he had was.
Huge.
It
was a huge impact. His you know, to be in his hometown with all of those people who basically he was a hero for everyone in Sweden, because he really changed the face of music for the time that he was making it. When you heard, you know, like Levels for the first time, do you remember?
Oh my God!
Did you get it in a email or something, or?
No, but wait, I have something. I have a story about this.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I was working as a producer. I'm not going to say for who, doesn't matter. But I was working at that time as a producer for let's say a record company,
mm-hmm.
and I would produce, you know, some of their big artists, and I have the guy is a very good friend of mine. I have a phone call and email saying like, okay, we're doing a version of Levels with Flo Rida, but it was before the record was even a hit, you know.
Okay.
And he said, well, this is cool with Avicii, but we cannot use the master. Could you reproduce that record,
right,
so that we can do the version with Flo Rida? And I'm like, but you sure he's cool with that? So, but I knew him, thanks God.
Sure.
So I double checked, and you know, I called at that time. I called Ash because that was like more like a business thing, and Ash was like, absolutely not. We're not cool with that at all. And so, you know, that could have been such a terrible mistake from me, you know, if I didn't double check. Because imagine David Guetta trying to steal the sound of Avicii before he got famous. That would have been like a disaster, when it was never my intention, you know. So then I decided not to do it, even though the record went to #1, you know, and you know, but because.
So somebody else ended up producing that Flo Rida version.
Yeah, of course. But it's okay for a producer to do that, I guess. But for someone that is also a DJ and was his friend, that would have been horrible,
yes,
you know,
terrible. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the record labels, of course, they hear different sounds and they want to duplicate certain sounds and try to just keep like,
yeah, of course, you know, of course.
But why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they just?
It was interesting because at that time, Level was #1, and the version with Flo Rida was #1 at the same time.
Right.
This is to say that it's interesting because it shows that pop and dance music, they are kind of different markets, and they can totally exist.
Yeah, you know what it is. Like, good music is going to transcend a genre. And so I think that's what, of course, Flo Rida and his record label recognizing, like, this is good no matter what genre, it's going to win. Exactly. And so they stole it, which.
Well, they finally had an agreement with them.
Oh, they did? Okay.
No, well, they didn't steal. But, you know, it just would have been a bad look for me if I would have done that, and it wouldn't have been right for me,
of course not,
to do it without him being okay with it. Yeah, so that was the first time I heard that Level, you know, but I was super impressed. I was like, oh my God. And the second time that completely killed me, I remember it was at my place in Ibiza, and Tim came to my house to play me his new album. Yeah. And I heard your song.
Yeah.
And I was like,
did it feel good to you when you first heard
it? Not even the end of the song. In the middle, I told him, I'm like, that's it. It's over. You're taking over the world. That's it.
Wow. So I bet that was his confidence to want to play it live at Ultra, because really, you know, having your blessing and other people in the industry.
I don't know if I was this influential, but I mean, I think he was happy, but yeah, for sure, you know, like he played. I remember the first one he played me with "Wake Me Up," and then he played me "Oh Brother."
Hey brother.
And then he played me a third one from the album, and I was like, okay, stop, that's it, it's over, it's finished. You're like, okay, I'm gonna retire. You're taking over. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. I was so impressed. I was like, wow, and I was also very touched by the lyrics of your song. It was so crazy. That song is really a masterpiece. Really.
Yes, we were able to make some put lightning in a bottle, and I always think when I'm writing new lyrics, how can I achieve something that strong? You never know what it's going to be paired with and what the circumstances are going to be in society and which label is going to help push it. But that was a really amazing moment. And I wanted to ask from you, like, how are you right now in terms of being creative? Like, what's your method of inspiration? I've been in the studio with you before, and you have such an amazing energy. It's so beautiful to work with you in the studio, because when you hear something you like, you're like, yes, that's it, let's do that. And there's no stopping. So, how are you on a day-to-day basis?
I'm a little bit of an obsessive person. So when I get, if I don't like it, you won't see me react. But if I love it, I become totally obsessed. And for me, it doesn't matter if I do a record that is meant for underground or a record that is meant for pop, or I think good music is good music, and I put the same passion, like yesterday, I'm still like buzzing about the show I did for I did a charity in Miami.
Yeah.
And I played in the middle of buildings. I didn't have a real crowd because of confinement, but it was just so amazing. And we raised a lot of money, but people were on the balcony. But I gave myself as much as if I was playing ultra, and
yes,
and the vibe was magic. So what I'm saying is that you can do like a radio record that's going to do #1 in the charts, and it's going to feel, extraordinary and exciting. And we can also get the same excitement from something if it's like, making a statement, even if it's only staying at the level of dance music. And it did this many, many times. And at some point, even though it started with underground and dance music and staying more in the clubs, it crossed over because the level of quality was so high that, like, as you said, it would touch anyone beyond our community. And this is also what happened to me, what happened to you. This is, to me, a blessing, and yeah, I also remember being in the studio with him, and it was very, very generous, because we sometimes producers, they like hiding the tricks, and and I was with the studio with him. We made records together, some records for him, some records for me. We released record together, but also like, for example, on Lovers on the Sun, it's like, no, I'm not going to feature, but I have an idea for the melody. He played the lead melody of the record, and of course he's credited, but he's like, no, don't worry, David, it's fine. Like, and it's funny because I was like, it was very unusual the way he plays the keys and all of this. He really had his own style.
He really did. Did you ever get to return the favor of remixing one of his songs?
Yes, of course. Yeah. And we did a lot together, like I don't know, 3 or 4 records. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, what a great time with Tim in the studio, creating music, making history, and making memories. And I'm so appreciative of you, David, for taking your time to come and spend this day in tribute to Tim, sharing the stories.
He loved and looked up to in terms of talent, So I'm happy that we can give a little homage, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Have a good rest of the day. Stay safe and healthy, and I hope that we get a chance to run into each other again, like when we're able to travel.
I'm writing songs every day.
I know.
Right now. So let's get back online.
Yep. Take care. Peace.
Take care. Bye.